Boker Tov, good morning. Today's daf is Avodah Zarah daf Yud Ches. Avodah Zarah 18. The daf is dedicated for a shemir for the Chayalim. Hatzal for the Shvuyim and Yeshua for Am Yisrael. And says Tzara. We're going to start on the bottom of 17b. 3 lines from the bottom, as the Gemara is telling us the story of Rabbi Hananya ben Teradio. Says the Gemara, they came to the Romans who were persecuting Rabbi Hananya ben Teradio. They came to him, Masil Rabbi Hananya ben Teradio, and Amrway. They said to him, Amai Kahasakta, so why have you been studying Torah? You know that you're not allowed to be involved with Torah study. This was the Hadrianic persecution. So Amrway said to them, Kasher Tzivani Hashem Elokai. What am I going to do? God commanded me to do it. I have no choice. Miyad Gazer Sreifa. Immediately, the Roman said he's going to have to be burnt. Va'al Ishto Ariga, Va'al Beito Eshe Bekuba Shozonos. They said that Rabbi Hananya ben Teradio was going to be burnt, his wife was going to be executed, and his daughter was going to have to stay in a room or a mall of harlots. He was going to be burnt. Because he did the sin of pronouncing God's name. The says, how was he able to do it? These are the people who have no share in the world to come. One who says there's no Torah from heaven, one who says there's no resurrection of the dead from the Torah. And Abba Shaul says also somebody pronounces God's name. So the Gemara says, he did it in order to learn, so to know how to rule. You're not allowed to do it, like their abominations. But you're allowed to study it in order to understand and to teach. So he had to know what it is in order to teach it. So if that's the case, on my time he punished. So why was he punished? Oh, because he said it in public and he shouldn't have done it in public. Why was his wife executed? Because you didn't object him. So from here we said, whoever has the ability to stop somebody from sinning and they don't, they're going to be punished. Why was his daughter punished to sit amongst the harlots? Because one time his daughter was walking amongst the elders of Rome. How beautiful are the steps of this young woman. Immediately she walked more carefully, meaning she slowed down. What does it mean when it in Tehillim, Avona Kiva Yisubeni? Avono Shadam Dash Bakvav, the sins that a person does with his heels, in this world, Masubin and Lo Yamadin are going to surround them in the world to come. When all three of them started going out to their punishment, they acknowledged the righteousness of the judgment. Hu Amar, he said, and this is the Tziduk Adin that we say, Rahman al Atzlan, El Abaya. Hu Amar Atzur Tamim Polo. He says, the rock perfect is he in all his ways. His wife said, El Amunah, the God of faithfulness without iniquity. Bitu Amra, and his daughter said, Kodoa Itzav Rabel Yah, Sharnecha Pukuchot Akol Derachei. Meaning to say, Akol Derachei B'nei Adam, meaning to say that your ways are perfect. Amar Rabbi Kama Gedolim Tzadikim Awalo. Look how great and precious are these righteous ones. Shenisdamel and Shalosh Mikros. That they immediately knew the proper verses, these three verses of Tziduk Adin at the moment of Tziduk Adin. Tana Rabbanan Keshachala Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma became sick. Rabbi Hananya ben Teradio Halakro. Hananya ben Teradio went to visit him. Amro Hanina Achi. Iyateyodea she'umma zum min hashemayim himlicholo. She'achriva es beiso v'sarfa es echalo v'harga es chasidav v'avda es tuvav. So Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma said to Hananya ben Teradio, Hananya, my brother, or here it says Hanina ben Teradio, but Are you not aware that this nation was appointed by God and to destroy the temple and burn his sanctuary and kill his pious ones and destroy his precious ones? Vadaini kayemes, and it's still here. Vani shamati alech, and I heard about you. Sheta yoshe votse b'Torah, makil kilos b'ram, that you're sitting there studying Torah, defying their commands and gathering people. V'sefer munach b'chakecha, and you have a Torah scroll in your bosom. Amar min hashemayim yirach. He said, let heaven have mercy. Amar lo, ani omer echad dvarim shel tam, v'ata omer li min hashemayim yirachamu. He said to him, I say to you things of logic, and you're talking me back with miracles that let heaven have mercy. Heaven will have mercy. Tomei ani imo yisrifu otcha that sefer Torah ba'esh. He says, I'd be shocked if you don't end up getting burnt, and also the Torah in fire. Amar Rabbi, mani l'chayom rabah. What about me in the world to come? So Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma said, Amar kulam ma'isabel yadcha. Has an action ever come into your hand that you sinned? He said, one time I mixed up the money of Purim with the money of charity. And I gave it out to the poor. He says, from your portion will be my portion. From your fate will be my fate. It was not long. Niftar Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma. Till Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma died, and it seems like Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma must have had protection. He must have been able to protect Rabbi Hanina ben Tarajon, because after his levaya is when Rabbi Hanina was arrested. Everybody from Rome went to bury him. They give him a huge eulogy. On the way back, they found Rabbi Hanina ben Tarajon. He was doing his thing. He was sitting and studying Torah, gathering people, and Sefer Torah, and he had Torah scroll in his bosom. They stood and they wrapped him up in the Sefer Torah. They put wood on him to slow it down. And they basically lit them on fire. But they view Sefugin Shal Tzemer and they brought wool and they soaked it in water and put it on his heart. So he wouldn't die quickly. So he'd be tortured. She said, his daughter said, Father, do I have to see you like this? He said, if I'll be burning by myself, it'll be very hard for me. Now that I'm being burnt and my Torah scroll is being burnt with me, Misha, whoever will come to seek out the honor of the Torah, to address the shame that was caused to Torah, or address the shame that was caused to me. So, Amru Talmidav. So his student said, Rebbe Mataroed, what do you see? And I see Gilyo Nisrafim Osios Parchos. You see, I see the parchment burning and the letters flying up to heaven. The letters flying in the air. Afata Poseach Picha. So then they said, you should open up your mouth for Tikinas Picha Eish, let the fire come in you. Mutav Sheitlani Misha Natna. It's better that the one who gave me my life should take it. And I don't want to cause damage to myself. Rabbeinu Tam says that if you see that you're going to cause you to violate idolatry, like the afflictions that you can't withstand, then it's a mitzvah to do damage to yourself. But he knew he'd be able to withstand it. Amrahu calls to Neri, so the executioner said, Rabbi, mani marbe b'shalheves, if I add onto the fire, v'notos sifugin shal temer me'al echa, and I'll remove the wool and tufts, Mavieni l'chayolam abba, will you bring me to the world to come? Amro Hain, he said, yes. He shovel, he swear to me. Nishbal, he swore. Miyade, herba v'shalheves, he increased the flame, v'notos sifugin, and he removed the wool, shal temer me'al ibo. He removed the sponges of wool, yotzen nishmaso b'mehera, and then his soul departed quickly. Afu kafatz v'nafal tocha or. So then this executioner jumped into the fire. Yotza baskol v'amra, a heavenly voice went out. Rabbi Hanina ben Teradon, called Suniri Mizuman Hail Chayom Rabbi Chanina and Tarajun and this executioner, they both have a share in the world to come. Rebbe started to cry and he said, there are some will cry the world to come in one moment, and some has cried in their whole lifetime, and some will cry just in one moment. This is now the third time we had this phrase in the tractate. We had it by Rebbe Lezer ben Durdai, and we have it by Ketia Bar Shalom back at 7 dapim ago, or 8 dapim ago. Ruria the Beisel de Rebbe Meir. Ruria was the wife of Rebbe Meir, Barte de Rebbe Chanina ben Tarajan Havi. She was also Rebbe Chanina ben Tarajan's daughter. She says to Rebbe Meir, Zila be Milsa diasva achatai bekubash zonos. She says, I'm very, it's disgraceful that my sister is sitting there amongst the harlots. Shakal tarkava de dinari. So he took a gold coin or gold bag, and he went and he said, he said, if she never did anything wrong, then a miracle will happen for her. But if she's done something wrong, then she won't be saved by a miracle. He disguised himself like one of the officers. Amrlo Hashmi'ini. So he said to her, come with me. Amrlo, she said to him, Dashtanana. She said, I can't. It's my time of the month. Amrlo Miss Rachna Mirasach. He said, I'll wait for you. She said, no. Amrlo Nefishin Tuva. It's appear me nice. So she said, no. There's many people are much better than me. Amr Shmamina Lo Avda Isura. So we see from here she's never done anything wrong. Called the Asi Amrway, whoever came along and said to him, Hachi Azo Lagabe, called the Asi Amrway Hachi. Whoever came to her, she said this to him, meaning she never went with anybody. Azo Lagabe Shomer Dida, he went to her watchman. Amrway Aveni La, he said, I want to purchase her. Amrway Mistafina Mi Malchusa. So the watchman said, no way, I'm afraid of the king. Amrway, he said, Shikol Tarkava Dinar, take this gold bag, palga palachu, palga avila. Half you should keep for yourself and half give to the king. So he said, and when I finish it, what am I going to do? So Amalei Ema Allah the mayor Anani Mitatsat. He say the God of Mayor will answer me and then you'll be saved. Amalei, so he says, Mi Yemer the Hachi. Will that actually work? Will that actually work? Mi Yemer the Hachi. Amalei Hashtachas come look. Avohanu Kalve Davaka Inchi. There were some dogs there that were eating people. Shakal Kala Shada Bahu threw some dirt at them. Havika Michle. And they're about to eat him. And then he said, Amar Allah the Mayor Anani. He said, the God of Mayor should answer me. Shivkua. So the man released her, V'yavale was and he gave her to Rebbe Meir. So Fishtama Milsa Be Malka, in the end the king heard about it. Siwa school was a kifa, so they were about to hang him. Amar Allah the Mayor Anani, so let the God of Mayor answer me. Achtua, so they lowered him down. It didn't work. They couldn't kill him. Amalei my high. He said, what's going on? Amalei Hachi Abu Maisa. This was the incident. Also, Chakku the Musi de Mera Pitcha de Romi. They went and they put a mayor's face on the entrance to Rome. Amalei called the Chazik Paratsufa Hadain Laisa. He says, whoever sees this person's face, bring him. Yoma Chada, one day, Chaziu Ra Tabasri. Rameir saw the Romans running after him. Ra Mikamayo, he ran from them. All obey zonos. He ran into a house of harlots because he said, oh, they won't think it's Rebbe Meir if I go there. Others say he saw that they were cooking a pot of the idolaters. Tamash Bahal Matak Bah. He was dipping one of his fingers in it, and then he sucked the other one so that they should think that he's eating from the non-kosher food. Asa Elio Idmelahu Kizona Tarachne. Some say Elijah disguised himself like a harlot and came over and basically made it seem like he knew him. Amri Chaz V'Shalom. They said it's impossible. This is Rebbe Meir. Rebbe Meir. The mayor wouldn't do this. Come Arak also Bavel. So he got up and ran to Bavel. Ikadamri mehai ma'isa. Some say this is how Rameir ended up in Bavel. Ikadamri mishum ma'isa de Beruria. Some say it happened because of the incident with Beruria. That one time, Beruria was making fun because the sages said in Kedushin Daf Peyam Abayz that Nashim Dait and Kalasim, that women are not serious, that they don't have that their minds are feeble. So so he said to her, I promise you that in the end you'll agree that the rabbis are right. So Rameir commanded one of his students to test her, to try and seduce her. And he tried many times, and in the end, he was successful. And when she found out about this, that it was a plot, she killed herself. And Rameir ran away out of shame. Tana Rabbanan, ha'holech itztadon v'karkum. So the Brisa says if you go to the itztadon, which is a place where they do like bullfighting, they gore the oxen. Or karkum, this is a place where it was like area that they would build, that they would do. Rashi says chok meaning games. They would play games there. The Rasham as a nachashim as chabaran, and you went to these places and you saw the people who are charming the snakes and the witchcraft, Mukyon, Mukyon, Molion, Vulian, Burin, Salgurin, and you see all these different types of Litzanim, these clouds. Harezim Moshe Litzim. This is a place of scoffers. About them, the verse says, fortunate the man who did not go in the path of the wicked. So he only desires in the Torah of God. We learn from here. So we learn from here these things bring you to a waste of time. They bring you to stop studying Torah. Is it really the case for a minute? Then we learn you're allowed to go to the stadiums because you can scream out and save a Jew. If you see that they're about to kill a Jew there, you could cry out and beg them to save him. So well, Karkom, you're also allowed to go to this Karkom because as a result of that, you'll be basically the Jews who live in that city will be able to have good relations with the people in that city, and thereby they'll save them. As long as you do not help them out to make them build up this place. So you see from here it's mutter, but if you're trying to help them build it up, it's prohibited. So we see kasha it's didin, kasha kirkam akorkam. The one source says prohibited, the other source says it's permitted. So the Gemara says, I understand why the kirkam is not a question. It depends where you're going. If you're going to help them, then it's not allowed. If you're going to basically just try to help the Jewish people, then it's okay. Oh, it's didn't kasha. But how to explain the itztiadin and the itztadin? Gemara says Tanahi. It's a dispute. It's doesn't name Moshe Blitzim. The one source says you can't go because it's a place of scoffers. Rabbi Nosson allows it for two reasons. One is because you shout out and you save them. Because a woman could go there and testify, or a man can go there and see if he sees his friend that's being killed. He could testify about his wife, and so that about the man's wife, so that she could remarry. You don't go to like tartios and karkasos. These are the words for theater and circus. They because they are arranging the actions for the idolatry to help the idolatry. She says, they arrange all of the things for the idolatry list, not they want to make an offering to it. That's the position for the mayor. Place where they're arranging the things for idolatry is prohibited because it's suspicion of idolatry. But in a place where they're not doing them, it's prohibited. Named Moshe Blitzim. You can't do it because it's a place of scoffers. What's the distinction? Question is where, let's say you went ahead and did it. If you can you benefit from the business? According to a mayor who says that it's for idolatry, it's prohibited if you to do business with them because it's a place of idolatry. and so you have to be concerned that the money is going to idolatry. But if your concern is that it's Moshe Baisim, then if you want to end the business, you can benefit from it. So, so he asked the question, if he didn't go down the path of the wicked, and how did he stand there? If he didn't stand there, how did he sit amongst the scoffers? How was he a scoffer? So it's telling you like this. If he goes down the path of the wicked, Sofu Amod, in the end he'll stand amongst the sinners. Vim Amad Sofu Eshiv, in the end he'll end up sitting amongst them. Vim Yeshiv Sofu to become a cynic. Vim what? And if he's a cynic, he'll have a cuss of him there. Im Chachach, the Pasuk says about him, Im Chachamta Chachamta V'lat Velatsta Levatcha Tisa. Means to see you'll carry your sin. Amar Rabbi. And there's a Gersa here, and the Gersa issue is Amar Rebbe Lazar, that Rebbe Lazar taught, whoever is cynical, the afflictions will come upon him. As it says, Amar Rava Rabbanim B'matusa, please, I pray, don't become a scoffer, so that the afflictions don't come upon you. Amar Rav Katina, Rav Katina says whoever is a mislotzates, whoever is a scoffer, his mizonos, his money will be diminished. And it says in the pasuk, Mashach Yado Eslotzim. Mashach Yado Eslotzim. Amar Shachash Kol Mitzlotzates Nofel B'Gehenim. Whoever is mitzlotzates will fall down into Gehenim. And it says Zayd Yahir Leit Shemo Oseh Be'Evras Zadon Ve'ein Evra Al Gehenim. Whoever is Gehenna, it says Yom Evra Hayom Ha'ol. Whoever is arrogant, no faba Gehenna, fall into Gehenna. It says Zayd Yahir Leit Shemo Oseh Be'Evra Zadon Ve'ein Evra Al Gehenim. Remember Yom Evra Yom Ha'ol. Rabbi Chaniwai Bar Chaniwai says Whoever is mislotzitz causes destruction to the world. It says Vata Al Tislotzu Penyach Sakumos Rechem Kala V'Nechotza Ki Kala V'Nechotza Shamati. Amar Rabbi Elazar Kasha He Shetchilatzi Yisurin V'Sofo Kliya. Being a scoffer is difficult because in the beginning it's afflictions and in the end it's destruction. Fortunate is one who doesn't go to their circuses and theaters. This refers to somebody who did not. So hold on one second. This refers to somebody who did not stand in their kenogion. This is another Greek word. What is the kenogion meaning? So the kenogion is. This is their hunts, but they used to go on their hunting hikes, as it says. Tamar Omar b'Torah so yageh yomam v'layla. Kenagin Rashi says the Kenagin is tzeda chaya. They kovim. They would trap the animals through dogs. The chol ma'aseim l'shem schok. They just did it for game. The Gemara b'shchita schol. Moshe Tanigi have it with Moses and Tanigi and Daf Samach Mabez and Chol. This is today's powerful daf. That's the call.